Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard and sitting shotgun as always. Oh, maybe you're taking over at the end of this one. Maybe you're on the driver's seat today.
Oh, yeah, my foot's on the gas.
My brother in podcasting, Reed.
Hey.
This episode, we get sweaty, salty, pulsating swamps.
Humid.
Yeah.
Oh, swamps. Yeah.
Swamp.
Also, so much Jensen.
Yeah. Also, dealing with racism and ghosts and some general spookiness, but
Yeah, things like that.
things that are more important. Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We're facing ghosts! We're others, we're not! We're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghosts! Ghostfacers! We're facing nightmare! We're facing dread! Ghosts! Ghostfacers! We're facing faceless! We're facing dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing episode number 13, Route 666.
Ooh.
Or I like to call it Route 66.
Route 666.
Oh.
66.
66 times 6.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Devil's number doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
As I like to call it, Route 999. What?
Oh, no. They didn't put the line. You couldn't tell which
Yeah.
way was up or down.
I think I got this right. I found the numbers laying on the ground, but I'm pretty sure I know where they go. Before I even talk about when this episode aired, I already have some behind the scenes information to talk about.
Sorry, that is so relevant. It has to come up before talking about when it aired.
Yeah.
All right, let's have it. Is this one of those ones where this is supposed to be the second episode or something?
No.
Okay.
The title is a reference to the famous American highway, Route 66.
Yes.
Well, I talked about the title. Got to talk about that. The episode title is also referencing the 1960s to 1964 TV series Route 66. It's especially apt because the show has established the format used by many later shows, including Supernatural. A man, or two men, or two women in the case of Xena, with no fixed home, no regular jobs, wander the countryside helping out folks who are in trouble. These shows have few in any sets and are mostly filmed on location.
A-Team, Incredible Hulk, Littlest Hobo, Rifleman.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Mandalorian.
There you go. Route 66. It's all playing off of that.
Right.
So the episode aired January 31st.
Oh, thank God.
2006.
I never have had to wait that long.
I know.
When did it air?
You were edging the whole time. God, when did it air?
Yeah,
Was it 2015?
Tell me when it aired.
1998. Well, I don't know. How am I supposed to continue? It was written by Brad Buckner and Eugenie Ross Lemming. Unlike the other Ross Lemmings, it didn't jump off the cliff.
Following Rachel.
Yeah. Oh, they were on a break.
That's the Ross Lemming. Hi, guys.
Russ.
Russ.
Directed by Paul Shapiro. Viewed by an estimated 5.82
Big jump back up.
million viewers.
Weren't we down to 3 something last week? Yeah.
I've got some more behind the scenes information here.
Yeah. Did they bribe 2 million people or something?
This is the most watched episode in the series.
All seasons?
Yeah.
This episode.
Yes.
This episode.
Yeah. I saw trucks and I wanted to watch.
I saw trucks and racism and I knew it was my kind of show. Then I got in there and I think this show is anti-racism. That is not what I signed up for.
That's right. This is the most watched
Apologies
episode.
to people with the accent I just butchered.
Also, there's going to be a lot more where that came from. This is the most watched episode. I can't believe.
Not at all what I would have guessed.
I don't know what they did. I don't have the full information about what happened. If it was
Did every other TV show pause production that week?
There was a...
I mean, literally the only thing we can watch is this This episode of Supernatural.
Yeah, that's why this year the most watched show is going to be like Real Housewives of Atlanta. That was the only one willing to continue to film.
Yeah, Real Housewife of this house.
Yes. It had 3 billion viewers. I don't know. Yeah, that's right. I couldn't believe it. I had no idea.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that.
I know what you're looking forward to. The next section.
I do like this.
Next segment here. International titles.
This better not let me down like that Scarecrow episode, though, where they were all just Scarecrow.
No.
Okay, good. All right.
So the Brazilian, French, German, Italian, Polish, and Romanian titles are all Route 666.
Sure.
Which I'm partly curious if they have a point of reference for those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know which pieces of Americana are kind of globally known or understood.
Because we're in Canada and we understand Route 66.
We understand Route 66, but we also get a lot of American music and stuff like that. Like, do Brazilians know what Route 66 is? Or is it just called that and they know 666 is a Satan thing?
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's about a road and the devil or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the devil, so they're highly religious areas. So
yeah, I mean, maybe that's enough. Maybe they don't get what the extra layer is.
Which brings a secondary question, which is the Finnish title is just called On the Road.
Oh. Fucking Finland. You passionless fucks.
It's on the road.
Are you trying to do a Finnish accent?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even attempt it.
It's on the road.
I don't know how to make an accent sound like I'm eating like fish and mayonnaise.
It's on the road. It's on the road. That's me doing that.
Very good.
While trying to do the accent I did prior.
Love it. It was perfect. Never changed.
Disney, call me. The final title, you know who it's got to be.
Oh, are we getting like Hungary or Bulgaria?
It's got to be Hungary. It's always Hungary.
All right, Hungary.
Hungarian titles are my favorite.
What do we got?
Hungarian title is The Secret of the Black Truck.
Ooh, oh yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
It feels very literary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a novella first published in...
Well, in their version, the black truck accidentally crashed and created 3 mutant turtles. 4 mutant turtles. That's my favorite of the Black Truck series.
Good God.
That's a Secret of the Use joke if you don't know, if you're unaware.
I really like I like that one.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
So TV Guide, as we always go to, describes this episode as, in rural Mississippi, a mysterious black truck wreaks havoc on the highways, and Dean fears that one of his old girlfriends may be next to be caught in its headlights.
Yeah.
So there's an interesting piece here. Did you notice something that I said that maybe doesn't follow suit with the rest of the episode?
Hang on. Is it not?
Keep going.
Is it not in Mississippi?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's in Missouri.
Yeah.
It is stated...
Whatever, you're all the same.
Start with Miss. Whatever.
Yeah, all right.
You already start with a Chicks reference.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
No, it is stated that the story takes place in Cape Girardeau. Yeah. Missouri. However, the license plates on all the cars are from Mississippi. This was perhaps a necessary change due to the fact that it was snowing during the time of shooting and it doesn't usually snow in Mississippi.
So they made it Missouri so that it would kind of make sense.
Especially when they filmed in May.
Does it snow in Missouri? I guess I don't know enough about American climate either.
Also, the U.S. Route 6 does not run through Missouri, but runs through the north of Nebraska and Iowa.
Sorry, it doesn't run through Missouri?
No.
Oh. Well, it's so... God. This first season takes some serious liberties, eh?
Yeah. It's pretty funny. So
in the Supernatural universe, the state lines aren't in the same place.
No.
Or Route 66 is a different shape. Yeah.
I mean, that probably seems more likely than
Yeah.
the states being different shapes, but
No.
I like in season 15 when they go to Wakanda. It's nice. Some featured music for this episode.
Okay.
We got Walk Away by the James Gang. What a terrible gang.
The James Gang. I'm James. This is James. And
I'm Jimmy. No, we said you're James.
This is the James Gang. God damn it.
Yeah, but my name's James, but I like to go by Jimmy. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this the James and Jimmy Club? Well, no, but I mean, it's a shirt. No. Look at your jacket.
We are wearing ties. We are a James Gang.
I did not get those jackets stitched to say the James and Jimmy Gang.
So silly.
Now let's get out of here.
Okay, I've never heard of that band.
No.
Okay.
We also get She Brings Me Love by Bad Company.
Yeah.
And
of course, Bad Company is in there, yeah.
And Can't Find My Way Home by Blind Faith.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, nice.
Right on.
Few tracks.
I mean, like a fine episode for music, not anything special.
No, but it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Well, before getting into our thoughts on today's episode, let's open up Dad's journal and learn some of the real-world lore about today's monster.
Yeah, let's see what the lore says about racism.
Really? No.
No.
Wow, pull up a chair. This is going to be a real funny episode. Well, let's talk about racism for the next hour. I'm sure we can cover it in a single 10-minute segment.
Yeah, it's not that nuanced.
No.
No, let's see what the lore says about phantom vehicles.
Oh, not racist trucks?
Yeah, no. I didn't want to give away the farm.
Oh, okay. I was just surprised on my own research that there was really only one racist truck. I mean, by my count, it seems like there's a lot of racist trucks out there.
And that would be so funny if you just Googled racist truck and there was just a list of all the trucks deemed racist.
Based on what bumper stickers?
Right. So phantom vehicles.
Yes.
Haunted vehicles.
Your Christines.
There is actually a legal definition of phantom vehicle.
Really?
That's used in insurance. And
What?
It's a vehicle that causes a car accident or car accident injury without ever coming into contact with the car that crashes. So, for example, someone swerves in front of you, and then you swerve and you hit a tree. Their car is the phantom vehicle.
Really?
Because they didn't hit you and knock
but you
off
caused
the road,
them.
but they caused you to go off the road.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's the legal definition of what a phantom vehicle is in the real world.
Tell me if this counts as a phantom vehicle
Okay.
then. Last winter, I had all seasons on.
Sure.
I didn't have winter tires, but I had all seasons on.
Sure, not good enough, but keep going.
Pulling up, there's a car in front of me, pulling up to the roundabout. No cars in any direction.
Right.
The car decides to do a full stop in front of the roundabout before
Right.
getting into it.
Right.
I assumed they were going to drive in, like a educated normal person.
Right.
But because they didn't, and I wasn't that close, but I slid, hit the back of the car. Does that count as a phantom vehicle?
No, because you made contact. It's still their fault.
Yeah.
But you made contact. It would be different if you came up to the roundabout and someone screamed through and then that person stopped and then you hit that person. The person A that screamed through would be the phantom vehicle. And then you guys involved in the crash would be the...
Fair. Okay. I get it now.
So that's what a phantom vehicle means.
All right.
Surprisingly, the legal definition doesn't mention ghosts.
Yeah, not spooky at all.
The paranormal version, of course, is a ghostly or a haunted vehicle. So there are two types there. A ghostly vehicle is a vehicle that is a ghost, or the ghost takes the form of a vehicle.
Oh, okay. Yes.
The spirit is a ghost. Or there's a haunted one where the car is real, but a ghost inhabits it and controls it.
Oh.
So the two kind of paranormal options there. So I found quote unquote notable examples.
Can you have a real driver in a ghost car?
Ooh, interesting. Ooh.
Is that a Wonder Woman scenario?
Oh my God, her plane died 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So some notable quote unquote examples. They're not actually that notable.
Okay.
You won't have heard of any of these. In South Africa in 2004, a car rolled up an embankment and hit a fence even though the engine was off and the emergency brake was on.
Oh, I remember that.
There was a claim that the car was jumping. Which itself is a much darker thing. It's like, wait, so the car is not only haunted, it's also trying to kill itself. Things like a car with a teen driver who didn't turn the wheel taking a turn on a mountain road. So then people are like, oh, it's a ghost. Like they didn't move, but the car turned the corner. Like, someone swerves to miss a truck that appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the truck disappeared after the swerving driver crashed.
Okay. Yeah.
The thing is that most of these stories are like wildly vague. Very few incidents are even attributed to being a pattern. It's not like, when you look it up, it's not like, oh, on this stretch of road, you'll always see the red Camry or like whatever.
Oh, why? I remember a 1998 red Camry here about 50 odd years ago. Wait a minute.
There hasn't been a Chrysler LeBaron around these parts. And
I remember the Cybertruck back in the 60s showing up.
Cybertruck. Oh, God. But yeah, I mean, like, it's not even like this stretch of road is famous for this kind of stuff. It just tends to be like people see something or whatever.
Yeah.
The scientific explanation of that would probably be the trauma or stress of a near or full accident is like affecting your memories, or it's possible that they're
I don't think so. That's a ghost.
It's also possible that they're just full on lies to like absolve them of guilt or responsibility in a car crash. But it's most likely just like people's memories being affected. It's like, yeah, maybe you thought you saw a truck, but it could have just been like light bounced the wrong way. You thought it was truck headlights. You swerved. You crashed. You turned around. The truck was gone, but it was never there.
I wasn't intoxicated and jumped into that dang near bank door. Nah, that was a Casper that done spooked my car.
So many words in such a weird order. Done swerved into the bank door?
Yeah.
Oh, like a bank.
Yeah.
I was thinking like an embankment, and I was like, a door? It's just like a...
So that's called a bank done wall. You're going to talk about an embankment.
But yeah, so phantom vehicles, there are apparently reports of ghosty cars, but not a ton, and not like any like major, real famous lore.
But
other than something like there's a supposed curse on like James Dean's car, or stuff like that. But that's like a separate thing from that too, because we're not even talking about like a ghost in a car or a ghost car.
So what about media references? What's your experience with like ghost car movies?
I think, there's probably lots of ghost movies where you see if we're talking about ghosts driving a real car, that's Ghostbusters, right? All the ghosts that come out, or Ghostbusters 2, isn't that Slimer and the Slimer family taking a car for a spin? I think the idea of like phantom ships, phantom vehicles, I think we've seen that in different TV and things like that. Like, it's certainly a concept that's out there, but compared to the other things that we talk about on this show, it's way more like amorphous. It's just like, I think you sometimes get the idea where it's like you're seeing like memories or things like that too. You see
All
like
Alone in the Moonlight.
Yeah.
What about sort of like killer car type movies? This, I mean, in general, that's a bit of a fear.
That's like Maximum Overdrive kind of thing.
Yeah. That's a general fear I have on day-to-day basis, where if like a car follows you too many times, like too many turns the same as you.
I guess my wonder is, it's been a while since I read Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
I can't remember if that's meant to be supernatural or if that's meant to be like the science fiction, like machine uprising thing. Because I think I would maybe default my thought to it being like the machine taking over. But I guess you're right. I mean, there's that Futurama episode with the most evil car ever built. And it's got like Hitler's windshield wipers and stuff like that on it. Like, and that one, we're talking about like the parts of these vehicles have been infused with the souls of evil, right? Maybe Maximum Overdrive is meant to be that too, but I don't remember. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly in pop culture, probably way more than it is in like colloquial paranormal kind of culture, right?
I have like a specific memory of accidentally cutting this truck off one day
Okay.
in town, and it followed me for a really, really long time.
Right.
And like I would speed up, it would speed
And
up.
there was no driver.
No, there was a driver. But what happened was I was coming. I decided I was just going to drive home because I have a garage and I could potentially close my door if they
Right.
followed me that far. And then I got into sort of my little like housing area, and there was a cop car.
Right.
And as soon as I passed the cop car, the car stopped and turned around, and so I got lucky. But that was terrifying. That was a really, really scary moment for
Yeah, that
sure.
does sound scary.
Did you see the movie Joyride?
No.
That movie, that was basically like a big rig, like driven by like a lunatic who was chasing these like road trippers down.
Oh, really?
Steve Zahn is in it. Paul Walker.
Steve Zahn. Yeah,
Yeah.
baby. Oh, Paul Walker.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. At the end of it, they just decided to drive in different directions than the truck.
But joyride to me is like, that's a term you use when you like steal a car or borrow a car, right? Like, and take it when you're not supposed to. Isn't that? So is that what they were doing? And then they were kind of getting their comeuppance?
I don't think so.
Because that's like the Ferris Bueller thing. Like, take the dad's car. Like, that's the joy. That's what I think of when I hear the words joyride.
You would think so. I mean, that's the general thing. I think they were
Or
just...
were they just enjoying driving?
I think
it's just a joyful ride.
I think that's how they were.
They should have called the movie Joyful Ride.
That would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
That's
like
also the name of a very pleasant porno. A joyful ride.
a pleasant plump. The description on Google for Joyride is Lewis, Venna, and Fuller take a cross-country road trip to return home for summer break. They prank a psychotic trucker, Rusty Nail,
His name is Rusty Nail?
using a CB radio, but he starts stalking them.
Oh, maybe that's his like call name.
Yes, that'd be my guess.
Herbert Nail was my father.
I figured he just got...
I'm his son, Rusty.
I figured he just got the name from like sleeping with the like roadside prostitutes and
Oh no. Oh,
caught
Jesus.
something.
Good God. That's so gross.
It was a good movie. I saw it in theaters in 2001.
So that's stuck in your head. This idea of like of being tailed or followed.
Yeah.
And especially if you can't see the driver, regardless of whether or not there is actually a driver,
Yeah.
it does kind of like the car itself kind of becomes the image of the thing chasing you.
Oh,
It's sort of
absolutely.
like it's all, you might as well just be being chased by a car.
It's also, what's scary about that too is, one, you're both in vehicles, so you're afraid of something happening to your vehicle. You're also worried about what's going to happen once we stop.
Yeah.
And the more you drive, the more it's building up that fear.
Yeah.
Because it's like, are they going to escalate it if like in the vehicles, or are we going to stop and then something is going to happen?
Yeah.
And you can't really ever see the person in the vehicle when that's happening. So it becomes, I could see how this is very easily becomes like a fear and like a trope.
Totally. Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, I think there are very easy, rational explanations for the instances in which people claim
Yeah,
phantom vehicles.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we get into today's episode?
I don't know, because I'm kind of tired. Oh, that was a rhetorical question?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we
Okay,
don't,
sure, let's do it.
No, I mean,
I guess we're already here.
we don't,
We're already here. You're already listening.
we don't gotta do it. I mean,
Fine, we'll do it.
no, it's fine. I didn't, I mean, it's
Whatever, I'm only half into this show anyway. Could you imagine? Just a really ambivalent rewatch podcast.
Also,
We're doing it because it's the podcast, but
I guess we signed on to do this. But I'm also, why is it that every time we hang out, you always just keep using the phrase, I'm only half in? Never want to fully commit?
no, I don't want to get in too deep.
Yeah, I don't think that is a problem.
Because you're so deep?
'Cause I'm in too deep and I finally I'm going under.
Some 41?
Yeah, man.
It'd be funny if on one of these episodes, where they didn't have like all the music rights done and stuff like that, where they, if they could, they had to sub in like some 41 like emo kind of stuff. Because
Oh
they
my
couldn't get the
God.
classic rock licenses.
That would be incredible. This thing was not fucking letting me get to like just the general show page.
Yeah, what is happening here?
It just keeps trying to play the episode rather than going to the actual. Maybe if I just pull it up. If I can just do this. It just won't go to like the general show page.
Oh.
It just keeps trying to be like, oh, you want to watch the next episode, right? What's the number for this?
This is 13.
Ooh, spooky. Fuck you. Go to the show.
Just click on it, and then you can go in it. You can go back, can't you?
Now it does it. I fucking hate Prime so much.
This is like when I claimed that Instagram stories didn't work.
Yeah. It doesn't work. I don't understand.
Where's my clicker?
Yeah. You just have to give me. All right. Let's jump into the episode.
Let's do it.
All right. And 22 years ago.
We got that one episode like reprieve.
Isn't that weird?
Was that Scarecrow?
Yeah.
And then we're right back into that.
You know what?
Again.
Something I noticed is at the end of that, the 22 years ago, it shows one single headlight out on the Impala.
Oh.
I just noticed it. It's very weird. So, a man is driving along the road when his radio starts to break up. A black truck pulls up behind him. And
It's
starts-
like a big truck too.
It's very-
It's not like a small. It's not like a semi or anything like that. It's just a very large pickup truck.
Yeah. During the opening sequence of this episode, you can see the truck chasing down the car and is empty. Once the scene continues, you can see a few cameramen riding
Where
in
is
the
it?
back of the truck.
God, it's just such like a massive
Watch
vehicle.
if you can see the back of the truck, you'll see camera guys in the back. It's very funny.
Oh, right, because they're filming the other angle.
Yeah, they're in the back of the truck. So when you actually they'll do a couple quick shots and you'll actually see the back of the truck. It's very funny. But yeah, this truck is
But then you see the car drive. The truck is nowhere until it's right in front,
which
of
makes
the
no
guy.
sense. How trucks don't work like that.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if it was just the simplest answer and my lore today was about shortcuts?
Funny, they're a real thing in life. I didn't realize.
Yeah, so this truck is like really playing with him too. It's forcing him like into like deeper into the countryside, and it knocks him off the road. He hits some like construction stuff and the car flips. Yeah, this truck is scary. Yeah, it's doing the thing where like the truck is
Come
like
on, bitch, get up.
But it's like in car commercials where they're pretending that the truck is like an animal. It goes,
Yeah.
"Rrr, rrr," and then it starts backing up and it fades.
It does like a gorilla
Away.
thing, essentially. So now, boom. Cold opens over. We get into the episode. Also, in the first car versus truck scenario, the car crashes. The car that crashes is a Ford. Later, while looking at the wreckage in the episode, the car is a Chrysler or a Dodge.
Wow, they got that Ford cease and desist.
Yeah.
and that-
So funny. So now we're with the boys. The brothers are heading for Pennsylvania when Dean suddenly gets a call from an old friend needing help.
Yeah. Sam is like sort of trying to figure out how to get them to the next place. He's talking about like there's construction on the way or whatever. And Dean is like, we got to go somewhere else. And Sam's like, all right, well, I mean, I've used that argument already. Pretty sure that was what we did back in episode 6, Skin. He looks straight into camera.
Which is actually supposed to be episode. It's a weird caveat that they
So
put
they're
in there.
talking about this person that called Dean.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, you never mentioned her. Like, and Dean was
Well, because
like,
Sam never gets to do this because Dean's usually like a one night kind of guy.
Well, and even he says that he was like more than one night.
Yeah.
And Dean's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So basically, it's her dad was the one who we had just seen in the car. He's the one that's dead in this car crash. And then Sam says, "Does she know what we do?" And
I told you we don't talk about that.
And Dean's like, Dean doesn't say anything, and Sam's like, "That's the one rule. You give me shit about this all the time. You don't tell our secret. You go out with this chick a couple of times, and you tell her everything." And Dean is like, "Yep, I did." He's being very tight-lipped. You're like, does Dean have does Dean have real person feelings?
Well, because she wouldn't understand when two brothers love each other so much.
Easy. We're not that far into the show yet. We'll get there.
She won't understand the deep secret. The deep secret.
So we cut to this like.
So we find out the girl is Cassie, an old friend of Dean's, and they go to meet them in what is Missouri.
Yes.
At a newspaper office where Cassie and her father's friend Jimmy both work for this paper.
Yeah.
And they're meeting with Jimmy and Cassie are both meeting with the mayor about the death of her father and another black man.
Yeah. Yeah, and the mayor is sort of being dismissive, saying like it's very sad what happened to your dad. I think it's kind of clouding your judgment here. I think you're trying to put something. You're trying to make a hate crime where there isn't one, because he's a real good mayor.
Yeah, yeah. That's what mayors really do, is try to dismiss what people want. It's just bad politics.
That's just politics.
Oh, this show got too real. I'm sorry. So Cassie reports that there were only one set of tracks at each site and no signs of collision. That's because the black truck was carrying the other truck the whole time.
That was political. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a ghost truck, right? But then, so like, you know, if you're at all investigating this thing, how did this car get all of these like bangs and stuff like that like wouldn't have been from rolling over? There's only one set of things. She knows what they do. She's like, something else is happening here.
Yeah.
This is the creepy thing. This is your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I need your help. I need you to figure this out for me.
So they're back at Cassie's house, and it's a very quick cut. You barely even realize that they go to a different place. Like, the cut is so fast that you're just like, oh, what? Weren't they somewhere else?
Right.
When did they leave there? But they're at Cassie's house, and they're sort of continuing to have the conversation of what had been happening. The one set of tracks. That's because Jesus took the wheel.
Yeah, and then they say that the first person that died was a friend of her dad's.
Yeah.
And that they had owned a car dealership together. The cops are just sticking with the lost control of his car.
And they're like, he owned a car dealership. He always had a different vehicle. He always kept his cars in like perfect condition. He wouldn't. It wouldn't have happened prior.
There couldn't have been additional scratches on it from things that wouldn't have been from the crash. You know, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah.
And now they're talking about sort of the fact that Cassie knows about what they did, and Dean's going like, I thought you just assumed I was nuts. And she's like, well, I kind of did. But when something actually happened, suddenly I realized that you were telling the truth, and maybe you didn't just like kick me to the curb. So Cassie's mother shows up, but is being really sort of cagey about everything and doesn't even really want to talk, and doesn't seem like she's a bit stressed out and doesn't want to sort of linger very long, and it's got her mind on something else.
Yeah. I mean, Dean says, we're sorry for your loss. Can we talk to you for a minute? And she kind of gives him a look like, who the fuck are you? You're not cops.
Yeah.
Like, again, because he's these two like fresh-faced youngins.
Exactly, yeah. The 20-year-olds want to talk about the crash. It's like, I got no time for this.
No, my husband just died.
So now at night, we're outside, and there's been another accident.
Yeah, we're just seeing the aftermath of it. We're not actually following it happening.
But who's in the front seat? Dead.
It's the guy from the newspaper.
It's Jimmy. Jimmy got done killed.
Yeah. It's bad. And you pan over and see the truck's headlights and hear that
just like, yeah, fucking yeah,
gorilla engine revving. It is. That's what it's doing. It's like, yes, I ran off the road.
Yeah. Truck.
And it fades away again. Ghost truck.
Yeah. Racist ghost truck.
Yeah.
Another black person taken down.
And the mayor's like, it's probably just a coincidence. The mayor's also saying, like, our best are dropping like flies. He's like, just say it, mayor. Say that black people are the only good thing in this town, and that someone is hate crime, like killing them.
That's right. So it's the next day. We're outside of the crash. The cops are there. The mayor's there. Cassie's there. The police are obviously there. The Winchesters look into the accident. And the next day, the mayor, Todd, is still less than helpful and hints that Cassie's white mother can say why he isn't racist. Because Cassie's basically going like, you don't give a shit about black people.
Yeah.
You're just like George Bush.
Yeah, because she's saying, like, why aren't you closing the road? You would close the road if everyone was white. And he's like,
talk to your mother.
Yeah. Your mom knows why I'm not racist, which is, of course, the perfect deflection.
Yeah. I've got black friends.
He doesn't even say that, so he says, ask your white mother why I'm not racist.
Yeah.
Which is like, she's also not qualified.
No, that's not. So we're back at the hotel with the boys, and they're suiting up.
Yes.
For whatever they have to do next. And they're having sort of another sort of back and forth because Sam really won't let this go.
Are they suiting up for a funeral? For the
funeral?
No,
no, they're going to go and pretend to be insurance.
I don't think we've seen them properly suit up since Phantom Traveler.
That's right.
Since they pretended to be Homeland Security for that one, right?
I like this moment because it's still Sam sort of pushing about this because he's just like, whoa. You're like one night Dean. What is going on with this girl?
Yeah, it's like, Dean, did you like have a thing with this girl?
You care about this person?
Yeah, exactly.
Now we're at a harbor. Another interesting facts. So Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and somewhere Mississippi is that Cape is not a fishing town, much less one where you can go get crabs and scallops as seen on signs in the episode. Cape Girardeau is on the Mississippi River, which has neither.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true.
So the guys are going to talk to a friend of Jimmy's, claiming to be insurance investigators, so that they can ask about the truck.
And they're talking to these two guys. The white guy's being pretty dismissive. The black guy's like, yeah, I've heard of a big black truck, like what,
but not from any time recent. This is like an old story.
Yeah, and he says it was back in the 60s. There was a string of deaths, black men, and they disappeared in this big nasty black truck, basically. And they never caught the guy that did it. And this is all if we're Sam and Dean, we're going like, think we figured it out.
And Jimmy's friend basically goes, I also don't think they ever even looked, though.
Yeah.
This episode does a really great job of it takes a really long time for them to ever do something kind of woke like this episode.
Yeah, to like properly acknowledge something like this. I mean, it's riffing on real history. It's riffing on real contemporary issues. I mean, contemporary issues to us now, and this was 15 years ago. It was still happening then, right? Like, not much has changed. It is kind of interesting to watch this episode now and be like, oh, God. Like,
but even still,
nothing has changed.
And they even reference that Jimmy's friend kind of hints at the fact that the townsfolk maybe still are a bit bigoted.
Right.
So Dean wonders if the truck maybe is some kind of Flying Dutchman type ghost connected to the Robinsons. And Sam suggests Dean and Cassie resolve their unfinished business. Sam guesses that Cassie dumped Dean after he revealed their secret. But it's very funny because at first he goes, oh, like, you broke up with her? And Dean sort of gives a look and he's like, whoa, she broke up with you?
Yeah, there is some kind of fun brother stuff in here. It's nice for so much of this show in general. Sam is usually the butt of these kind of conversations.
And the emotional one who gets his heart broken.
It is kind of nice to flip it. We get a little bit more of Dean's inner life.
Yeah.
The fact that he's a real three-dimensional person that can feel pain and hurt and stuff like that. But then also that Sam is capable of giving him shit. Like, it is a good brother moment.
But also, like, a modern take on the show probably wouldn't have Dean ever sort of show this side. It's kind of nice that they give him this sort of other dimension. it's easier to just make him always the tough guy who has like quips and not actually provide him with this sort of nether dimension. It's kind of a
that's true too. I mean, I would also maybe say it's maybe a little surprising for the show at the time.
Yeah, especially this time.
You know, because it's not like we're getting into season 10. Let's finally
This is
open up the Dean book.
Season 1.
It's 13th episode, right? Like we're early days.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they're already sort of dipping into this. So Dean goes and does as much as trying to resolve things. He goes to Cassie's alone.
Yeah.
Without Sam.
She's at work. She's at the paper.
Yes. No, I thought they were at their house. No, they're at her house.
Oh, sorry. It just looked like she was.
Because what happens next, I don't think.
Oh, you're right.
Happen at the newspaper. Yeah, they pushed aside the experimental paper.
But she talks about the paper. It used to be an all-white staff, and then it got bought. And then Jimmy, the third victim, he became the first black reporter. And then she's talking about her dad and her and all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. They have got a ton of chemistry.
They do. There's like the sexual tension in this episode is thick,
palpable.
And Dean is obviously still kind of hurt about how things ended off. She is ready to give him shit though too. Like she's kind of a Dean.
Yeah.
She's I think smarter than he is, but I think she's got that kind of like, don't like walk away from me kind of thing. Like you got a problem, you say it. Like but she's also like, oh, you do this. Like this is the thing that you do, which is like, you could tell they've got history. And then they start like arguing
but at the same time apologizing.
It's
hot.
It's pretty sexy.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sexy argument.
They're like so close to each other having this very heated conversation while using that thing where you have like angry tones, but you're saying like apologies and nice things.
Yeah, Dean is saying like you freaked out when I told you our secret, and she's like, you were looking for a way out and you made up that I thought it was too much.
Yeah.
Like they're it does end with them apologizing, and then wait for it. There we go. Boom.
She makes the first move.
Cue like a decade wait for a makeout, or however long it's been, 8 years or something,
or at least 13 episodes.
Yeah. I think this is our first real sex scene.
It is.
Which is funny because so much of the show's marketing was about how hot the guys were. With 13 episodes in, this is our first sex scene.
So it's funny you say that. So, editor Anthony Pinker was amused by the notes he got from the network for this episode. Despite all the multiple deaths and violence on the show, Pinker was expressly told not to depict Cassie on top of Dean in their sex scene.
Oh.
In true rebellious nature of Supernatural cast and crew, they did exactly that.
Yeah. I mean, they're flipping the script. They're doing a few different things in this scene. It's like, I mean, it's TV. It's tastefully TV shot, but like it's pretty sexy.
But
they're going for it.
A hilarious thing, if you are watching it on a streaming network, you'll hear this song that desperately wants to be Santana's Smooth.
Yes, that's true.
Listen to it again. Yeah. It's the whole time. Literally, you could sing Smooth to the beat and the rhythm.
It's true. It does
have
the
melody and everything. Like
I literally has that vibe. Yeah.
I was watching it today. I'm like, just like the ocean. Like it's so desperately wanted to be that.
Yeah.
So now we're in a field the next morning, and Mayor Todd is out in this field checking plans when the black truck pulls up in the day. It's not even at nighttime.
See. How could the truck be racist? He's going after a white guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's not how racism works.
Yeah, you SJW cucks.
Whoa, did we get another review?
Yeah, so this truck like full on kills the mayor and then disappears. And then it's such a weird thing because sex scene, mayor gets killed, cut right back to post-sex. It almost feels like it didn't have to happen that way.
Well, because Dean ran her over.
Oh,
if you know what I mean.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. That's yeah. It's that like we should fight more often. That very kind of like
yes. Post-coital
But you know,
Cuddles.
like they're cuddling up. But Dean's got that like 1,000,000-yard stare, right? Like he's just kind of.
God, don't you just want to fix him?
I mean, a little bit. You do get that instinct where it's like, just stay there, Dean. Just stop hunting.
Or come here.
Come here.
We'll fix you.
Yeah.
I'll make it better.
Yeah. It'll be different with me.
Yeah. You just haven't found the right person.
Yeah. It's one of, again, this is a good episode for some of these moments with Dean where he's like, you see his perspective on it. Like he said it to Sam before. It's like, this is our life, right? And it's like, this is it. Like, I wish I could just stay here, but like, I see horrible things. I can't let that go.
Yeah, Cassie and Dean discuss about how she was frightened by his history and shoved him away.
Yeah.
So it was less about the things and more about the fact that that's a whole life you have to then be involved with. Dean starts to make excuses, and she asks him to stop.
Jensen looks so good. I'm sorry. He looks so good here.
Yeah, he does.
Sorry. Go on. Whatever. It's something about the episode.
But all of us get interrupted by a phone call.
Like he's not too jacked. It's just like the right amount. It's not that like 0% body fat, like shredded kind of thing.
You can still grab something.
You can't see the sinews, but like.
But it's all formed in the right shapes.
Oh, fine. And then we cut to a scene where he's wearing clothes again.
Yeah, and Todd was murdered. I guess somebody was killed. Whatever. So this next sort of segments bounce between the field where Todd was murdered, the newspaper, and Sam walking.
That's right.
But basically, we find out that Todd was killed on the property of the Dorian family, who owned the newspaper and who one member, Cyrus, disappeared 40 years ago.
Yeah, and they were the ones who, when they owned the paper, it was whites only.
Yes.
It was all tied to this history. We see, Dean and Cassie doing research. It was like, oh, now Dean's doing research. Spending some time with...
Get a good partner and suddenly everything changes.
Yeah, exactly. So the Dorian family, that's right. They used to, they almost used to run the whole town.
Yeah.
Not only the paper.
But Todd had the house bulldozed, and the first murder took place the next day after that.
Right. So the thought is that these things are connected, right? The mayor wants to develop this land. That's one of the plans he was looking at when he was by himself out on a country road.
Yeah, you know how that works.
You know how the mayor does that? Wasn't even the developer.
No.
It was the mayor.
No, I'm a mayor. I obviously know how to use blueprints.
I think we're going to drive 20 minutes out of town and look at these plans.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a second look. The mayor's eye on a good set of blueprints. There's nothing beats it. So we go back to Cassie's that night.
Yeah.
And she's at home when the lights start to flicker in the house while she's alone.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is a pretty scary scene, I would say, when it starts.
Yeah.
The scene gets less scary, but like the lighting on the truck is outside. The lights are flickering in the house. She can hear it.
The truck's just like, yeah, fucking yeah.
And
let's do this.
Well, this is the thing. The truck is basically mimicking like all of the sounds and fury of what would be a truck with a bunch of racist white guys hanging off of it.
Yeah.
In the 60s.
100%. Yeah.
Like
terrifying.
The light coming in. The truck is driving around the house. Every time she goes to a different window, the truck drives around and like meets her there. She's trying to close all the blinds and stuff. This is a legitimately scary scene until you realize
it's a truck.
The truck isn't driving in. Like you're like, oh, the truck's going to break down the door. And then you're like, oh, the truck can't get in. You're like, oh, well then what the... Like, okay, fine, whatever.
Okay, you be truck outside.
It's not like that South Park where it's like, is this the way to Country Kitchen Buffet?
Yeah. So Cassie calls Dean, and they show up after the truck leaves. Dean believes whoever is driving the truck wanted them scared.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's just, that is one moment that for me, like, really undercut the tension.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I mean, you obviously can't do this forever, but you just know, just don't drive at night.
Yeah, go inside.
And you're fine.
Well, I mean, no, because Todd got hit in the middle of the day.
Oh, that's true too. That's
Yeah.
You're right. Never
But he was
mind.
white. It's different rules for white people.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're...
Which isn't true in reality, right? That's not the way society works.
I guess you're right, though. Maybe it is still scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is hilarious.
Well, no, sorry. I mean, like, this is scary. I just meant like the truck not going inside thing.
Yes. I mean, yeah, they're like, it's kind of like Daleks, where it's just like go up a set of stairs in the first few seasons of the show.
So the mom starts talking about how, like, I guess back when she was dating Cassie's dad,
Yeah.
they talked about the truck or whatever, and like who? Did
Well,
the truck-
her husband knew who the truck belonged to.
Yeah, and it was this Cyrus Dorian
Yeah.
who died like 40 years ago, but he had gone missing. She says he died, and then Dean goes, "How do you know he died?"
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now it's mom's turn for fessing up some history.
That's right.
Apparently, she used to date Cyrus, and then she
Was seeing Martin
also
secret.
seeing Martin. So as you can imagine, Cyrus, racist, not super keen on an interracial couple, let alone one in which he lost out on.
And what's
on
this?
the partner.
Parallels to modern, because Dean is with Cassie, and there's another interracial couple.
I mean, true. Also parallels to modern day in that there's still a lot of people that would kill over this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she broke up with Cyrus, and he found out going insane with rage. Then the murders started.
Yeah, so nothing. She said nothing was done. The cops
Yeah.
wouldn't do anything, like, because 60s Missouri, they just wouldn't.
Yeah. She and Martin prepared to marry, and then someone set fire to their church, killing the children's choir.
Yeah, which is
Jesus.
a detail that's so dark.
It doesn't really affect it very much.
Yeah. Yeah, God, so messed up. Well, I guess, no, she says they actually last minute decided to elope because they didn't want the attention, but I guess Cyrus didn't get the memo and burned down the church and killed this children's choir, which is so dark.
Well, the church being set on fire mirrors the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in 1963 in reality, where 4 African-American girls who were part of the children's choir were killed in the bombing.
Oh, shit. So this is like a direct reference to that. Yeah, not specifically tied to the like being that historical event, but riffing on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so it's evoking something very specific then.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
So later, Cyrus caught Martin and beat him on their wedding night. But Martin got loose and beat Cyrus to death. Martin and his 2 friends disposed of Cyrus and his truck and kept the secret. And now all 3 are dead.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so it's one of those things where it's like this truck is the spirit of Cyrus.
Yeah.
Who, you know, as we know from our ghost lore, his traumatic death has led to him being a spirit.
Yeah,
But it's not like a wrong death. Traumatic, yes, but like...
I mean, killing people is probably never the solution, but...
Yes, but in the sort of cosmic, karmic sense, not unjust.
Yes, I would say that's true.
But yes, I mean, you're right, of course.
We're finding some like truth, your vigilante background.
Yeah, they put Cyrus's body in the truck and they rolled the truck into the swamp, which is now why the ghost is tied to the truck.
Yes.
So it's that thing where I think they're about to make the connection that.
Well, here's the thing: Mayor Todd was also the deputy back then.
Yeah,
and figured out what they were up to, but covered it up for them.
And this is why he was saying, like, you ask your mom why I'm not racist, is because he also was not investigating the killings of the black people. But when he did find out what happened, he let it slide.
Yeah.
So he was kind of in on it. So now all of those people are gone, but this truck is still out there because racism never dies.
Yeah, that's the lesson here.
Which is also my least favorite Bond movie.
Racism never dies. Yeah, it doesn't really leave a great taste in your mouth.
No. No, it does not.
Oh, you know what this means now? Now we gotta go to the swamp.
So the mom says there's no one left to protect, and Dean says, yes, there is. And they know that the truck's after Cassie.
Yeah, that's right.
She's the only child of any of those original people. We haven't seen any of the rest of them have kids or anything like that. So as far as the ghost lore thing of like finishing your mission, Cassie's all that's left. So they know that they've got to protect Cassie. They've got to figure out how to stop this ghost. So they know that the construction on the property kind of woke it up.
Yeah.
Released it. They're going to have to, they say we're going to have to dredge the swamp. We have to find the body if we're going to salt and burn the bones.
Yeah.
Because the truck and the body are in this swamp. Yeah. Again, some Dean and Cassie kind of moments before they go off to go get the truck out of the swamp. And Sam's kind of laughing at how flirty and whatever they're being. And
they head to the swamp and start pulling it up.
We just cut to them pulling it out, though, right? Like, we got the tractor and the chain is hooked to the truck, but like, neither of them are like soaking wet.
No.
Someone would have to go into the lake and attach the thing to the to the truck.
Exactly. Also, Cyrus's truck has been sitting submerged in a swamp, presumably for 40 years. But when the Winchesters go to open the door handle, it's still shiny and the doors are easily able to open on the first try.
Yeah, that's true too. They're not just rusted shut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything goes smoothly, but then the black truck appears across the field and their plan will fail. Look at this. They go to open. Look at how shiny that is.
It is, yeah. I mean, I guess there's only so much work you could do on it. But I think I'm a little bit surprised how much flesh is still on this corpse.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's underwater, but there must be like crawfish or something like... There's no way, right? After 40 years?
We had a big crawdads in the swamp.
So yeah, they salt and burn the bones.
That'll fix it, right? Rongo.
No. It's even as they're saying, that'll do it. And then the headlights on the truck start up. Yeah.
So Dean figures the burning didn't destroy Cyrus's spirit bound within the truck. So the truck's the issue here. So Dean decides that he's going to have to lure away this truck from them so that they don't get killed.
Yeah.
So he's going to go for a little joyride.
We brought it back.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah. Dean says, burn the truck. And Sam's like, how am I supposed to burn it? It's
metal.
It's metal and it's wet.
Like there's got to be a better solution.
And Dean's like, figure it out. Okay, bye. And it takes off in the Impala, taking the truck on a little chase.
That's right. So Dean drives off, luring the truck away, and tells Sam to try to figure out how to burn this truck. A chase ensues while Sam figures out something and calls Cassie. Dean is barely ahead of the black truck when Sam calls him to coordinate his location.
I do. Here's the thing that I also kind of realize is that the Impala is obviously like a character in the show.
Yeah.
It's a big part of the show. But this is one of few episodes where we really get to like do a car chase.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't happen very much in any season of Supernatural.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
You know, it's sometimes the car features or, you know, they got to go to the trunk where the weapons are or whatever. But like we don't often get like an actual car chase.
That's really interesting.
This is one episode where that's true.
Yeah, I can't think of really any other.
There's not much. It's sort of it's a thing I don't normally think about, but since we're watching,
we got a son of a bitch here.
Yep, we got a good old Dean son of a bitch. Sam is trying to tell Dean where to turn.
Yeah, Dean gives directions to go to. He gives Dean directions to go to a very specific spot on a particular road and then stop.
Yes. Yeah.
He tells him go down this road and go 0.7 kilometers, I believe.
He would
0.7 miles.
Give him kilometers.
0.7 miles. Sorry, Canadian brain.
Yeah.
And then
it's Canadian Supernatural.
I mean, it is in Vancouver.
Go about 7 kilometers.
What's funny is that when Sam is telling Dean how to lure the truck to a precise spot, one instruction is to give them exactly 0.7 miles. When Dean first looks at the odometer, it reads 70098.2. When he stops, it then reads 70100.6. That's more than 0.7 miles.
So you're saying they didn't do this in one take?
I'm just saying that that maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, we get this thing like Dean's turned around. It's like the showdown, like the headlights staring at each other.
They're just going like, okay, what? Sam's like, what's happening? He's like, it's just revving its engine and looking at me.
Yeah. So creepy. So the truck starts coming.
Heading right for him. And Sam's not telling him anything of what he's supposed to do.
There's
so
some
Dean's
good
just like,
shots here,
oh
too.
shit, here we go.
This is well shot. I
Oh,
would
very
say.
well shot, yeah. The truck goes directly for the front of the car and shatters and breaks through the Impala.
Ghost shatters into
Yes.
into mist. Yeah. And
we find out that Dean is at the church that Cyrus burned down.
yeah, he's in the yard of the church. So it's like consecrated ground. It's holy ground. So the ghost can't
Enter.
enter, and it dissipates, and that's the end of the ghost.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the
pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure how Sam got that faster that he figured out how to burn a truck.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's more interesting story-wise, but it's like you were given a job and you like read a book.
Yeah. I mean, that's the most Sam thing I've ever heard ever. Seems like the thing you would do.
It's pretty funny.
This is the only episode when an evil spirit has been defeated due to the fact that it crossed hallowed ground.
Yeah, that's true.
In every other episode, evil spirits and demons can enter a church without harm.
Well, I mean, in Hookman,
The
who we've already done, he attacks them in the church, but he's also tied to a piece of metal that is like,
But still, it's hallowed ground.
yeah. Interesting. That's true. This is the only time that's come up, huh?
Yep.
Maybe it's, they say it's hallowed ground. Maybe it's more about the connection to the fact that it's the church that he burnt down or something
Potentially.
like that. Or, yeah.
Yeah, you solve this.
I'm a hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a hunter.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, go read a book. You know who you are.
Oh, I'm Sam.
You know you're Sam.
Turn left. Go 0.7 miles.
Wow. Yeah, if that's not the perfect culmination of what Sam is. So later, Cassie and Dean make their farewells. And while Cassie isn't sure they'll meet again, Dean is confident that they'll be together.
Like, now they're like real good kissing here.
Oh, yeah. And Sam's really enjoying it.
Good day for that day player.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's not a day player. She's a guest star on this.
This is the one time that you like correct yourself on that. We always call them the
I
day
know,
players.
and I shouldn't. That's not really what it is. But yeah. Oh God, Jensen's so hot in this.
Real pouty and like muscular in this episode. They
Yeah.
really played into him being hot.
Yeah.
I was not complaining.
No, I wasn't either. Yep. So they drive away from this like swampy town.
Sticky and swampy.
Oh, humid.
Oh, yeah. So hot.
Yeah, the town is glistening.
Still talking about this town? This town is throbbing. We're back on the road. Sam questions if Dean has ever considered, giving it all up.
Yep.
And Dean just, gives him a smile.
You know that Dean is like, he's really thinking. He's got some stuff to think about because he's letting Sam drive.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Dean has had a time. He needs some rest. He's letting Sam drive. And yeah, he even says like, I'm going to take a nap. You
puts
wake me
on
up when it's my
glasses
turn.
and falls asleep. Yeah, he's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's actually, he's not all that sad at the end of this, but it's definitely like
It's closure.
He got a little bit of closure. He got a lot of bit of banging, and they stopped at Ghost, so that's all good stuff.
Look at that.
Oh man. Wow.
That was episode number 13.
So that's
spooky.
Route 666. So there's a few things in here. I think the person playing Cassie is great. I think the person playing Cassie's mom is also really good. You know, she's really only got that one kind of big scene, but she delivers it really well.
Yeah.
It's tackling this sort of big issue without getting. It's not like Sam and Dean solve racism. Like, it doesn't become like a thing like that. Where it's
they usually save the town at the end. What happened with racism?
No, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like Rocky IV where like he beats Drago and like the Soviet Union crumbles. It's like they save Cassie. They stop one ghost. But the problem of like, even the white mayor that stuck up for black people at one point was like, it's a coincidence.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Even the quote unquote
good guy,
ally fucking sucked. You know, there was the guy when they went to go ask those two guys down at the crab shack or whatever.
Yeah.
They went to go ask them questions. The white guy was like, I don't know anything about it. It's like,
Yeah.
I've never heard of this truck. And the black guy's like, I have. It's terrifying. And the white guy's like, what truck? And it's like, clearly you don't have to think about this. Like, they don't solve racism. They don't even solve it in the town. They just stop a ghost and save Cassie. So I think there's something good about that. I think like that it's a smart way to write in these things that are very real and are narratively powerful, and they're things you can connect to as an audience and stuff like that because it's real life. But it's also a way where it's like at the end of it you don't have to feel like the show like has jumped the shark or is far-fetched, or it's like the town watched them beat the ghost and they stood up and they go like, finally we'll desegregate the school. Like, it's not like something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely. I mean,
there are some problems they can't fix. They are good at what they do, but some things are also bigger than them.
For sure.
Which I think is important.
I think given the time period, like the period in which this was aired,
Yes.
the network it was on,
Yeah.
the type of show that it was trying to make. I mean, from the outset,
It's probably reaching further than a lot of other shows would.
then it was expected to.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. There was no like statute for them to be doing something like this.
And crazy that it's also doing it in the episode that finally delivers the like watch someone sexy. Like,
and it's a mixed race couple. Like that's
this episode does a lot of things really well, not just those things. But it is interesting to see all of the balancing act. It's actually an episode of like really good, like fun Sam and Dean dynamic. They're finally not being like, "Oh, Dad never trusted me," or like whatever.
It's true. Yeah, you get none of that.
None of that shit. They have fun banter. Sam is kind of the one that's like ribbing Dean.
Yeah.
It's sexy. It's also dealing with racism. It's a good ghost. There's a decent story to it. Like, this episode is strong, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of people don't like it. I think this episode is like not super well received.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean,
my experience online, I think, has been people saying they didn't like this.
Well, that's really interesting, right? Considering what the viewership was for this. For me, this is an episode that I often sort of skip past,
right?
Just because I think that the monster, the ghost truck, as interesting as like the story behind it and the issues maybe the episode is tackling, it's not that scary and it's not that quippy. Like, I think this first season really goes sort of back and forth with how they sort of use the characters and sort of the balance they have between sort of like genuine personalities and quippiness. Yeah. This episode leans in really one specific direction.
Of the, like, you know, in your production limitations also stop this monster from being truly horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, you see a lot of the truck, you see it bump some cars, and you're like, oh no, and you know the history of it, and that is scary. But you're right, like, we don't get to see the truck just full on hit someone.
Yeah.
We don't get to see the truck like back over them. Like, things that would make a truck more scary.
You don't get a Meet Joe Black situation where the truck like hits a person twice in the air.
Or yeah, exactly. But you know what I mean? Like, it's all like, it's like, here's a shot of the truck and then here's a shot of a car swerving. You're not seeing the moment of attack the way you would with like in like ghost episodes, or the way we did with the demon, where it's something to actually like fight or grapple with.
It was interesting to have that scene where the truck told Sam and Dean to go back where they came from.
Oh no. But you know what I mean? We talked about in that Hook episode, that moment where the hook goes through that pastor's shoulder. That is visceral and terrifying and scary. And there really isn't a moment like that in this, especially once you realize that staying in the house is enough to keep the truck away.
Like, I think this was the second or third time I've seen this episode ever.
Right.
Which
I think this is my second time seeing.
And considering the amount of times I've rewatched this show, I generally don't watch this one.
It means you're skipping it a bunch.
Yeah, it's just, for me, it doesn't really address a lot of the bigger story arcs. It's from like, I think there's some like genuine moments and some like really hot sex scenes.
Sorry,
but
I just blacked out for a second there.
I think otherwise, it's sort of, it doesn't go full in any of the ways that I want it to.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like,
it pulls punches in this episode, I would say.
I still like it, but yeah, I agree. It's certainly not giving us everything. So we've talked a lot about it. We've basically given our thoughts.
Yeah.
How many racist trucks do you give this episode?
Well, I'm going to rate this on ungeographical seafood dishes.
Oh, okay. Sure. How many of those do you give it?
I'm going to give it a 3.
All right. 3. I think I'm giving this a 3.5. I think that's... I do like this episode.
That sex scene is only a 1.5. I want to see full penetration.
Yeah. You hear me, CW?
Yeah. I want to see that D.
Good Lord. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 3.5. I do like this episode, but it's definitely not the strongest outing.
It's not one that I go back to, I think. That's, for me, like, there's not enough of the sort of fun brothers stuff or like the quippiness.
It's a little bit of everything.
I get it. It's a hard line to toe in an episode that's tackling some serious things.
Totally.
You're trying to give Dean an emotional center.
Yes.
You're dealing with like race rights and like issues, and I get why they probably pulled some punches out of fear of making the wrong moves, but it just, for me, is not one that I go back to very often.
I think that's totally fair. Yeah, there we go.
Well, that's it for this week. If you have any note about this episode, maybe something that we had missed, or a future episode that you want to send us a question for that we can talk about on the show, or maybe you just want to say hi, you can send us an email at
ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
And of course, we're all over social media. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. All you have to do is find us
at GhostfacersPod.
We're having chats about, and now that the show is finally finished, we can use social media.
Any chat you want.
Exactly. Yeah. We can finally have chats about everything else about this show. Though we're going episode to episode, we have watched the full series, so you can ask us questions about anything. But if you want to ask about an episode that hasn't aired yet, maybe we can talk about it on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And of course, we don't talk about it on this show, but if you like what we have here, you could get more content from us. There's a lot of overlapping within the sort of cultures, I think.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
We have another podcast.
That's right. It's a comic book podcast. It's called the Dr. DC Podcast. It's about DC Comics. We answer listener questions about comic book characters and stories and stuff like that. And somehow, weirdly, very interconnected to Supernatural. The way stories work, the way you think about heroes and villains, and even the way you think about heaven and hell and stuff like that, weirdly connected. So if you like what we're doing over here and you have any sort of vague interest in comic books, check that out.
Yeah,
too.
if you've never seen a comic book or you are a self-proclaimed expert, we've got an episode for you. So make sure to go over there.
Totally.
And speaking of doing things for podcasts, rate, review, subscribe, all of those things, they really, really help us out.
Yeah.
So say goodbye, bitch.
Sure.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.